Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I want to do a 9.8 market update video. I got a full list of some completed listings in a 9.8 to go through. All the prices that we'll talk about are in US dollars as well. And I would say the 9.8 market, it's kind of treading water where there's a couple key issues that are going for big money. But, you know, your kind of average 9.8 key issue is going for like a really solid fair market value, I would say. So let's have a look here at some of the details. The first one, it's a Spider-Man number 12 with this classic Miles kissing Spider-Gwen cover that's become pretty collectible over time. Saw this one sell in a 9.8 for $325. So this one has absolutely been a pretty great Miles Morales Spider-Gwen speculation over time. I remember this one like a year or two ago going right around $100. And, you know, now it's $325. You know, we're leading into these, like, Across the Spider-Verse movies. I'm pretty sure this one has heated up sort of in the short term a little bit. I'd try to aim for under 300 on this one. I do have a feeling like it's kind of a secondary, you know, Miles Morales Spider-Gwen key issue. After these Across the Spider-Verse movies, maybe this one cools down quite a bit. So it might not be the best time to kind of get a deal on this one. But if you did want this one in a 9.8, I would aim under $300. So the next one is a Fantastic Four 243. Yeah, I talked about this one quite a bit. Going for a really stiff price, I would say. In a 9.8 white page is selling for $566. We kind of documented a few. I think I made one of those videos like it's on eBay right now, and one of these was like $350. And that was not very long ago, like maybe a month ago or so. So maybe this one's heating up a little bit. Kind of feeling like this was a bit of a bidding war that had broke out. I would still aim under 500 on this one. Fantastic Four 243. One I have highlighted though as a pretty, it's like one of the best Fantastic Four covers of this era for sure. John Byrne on the story cover and art, I think, on this one. If Galactus gets into some of these Fantastic Four movies that are supposed to come out, I see there still being some pretty solid upside for this one. So I would still aim for under $500 though on a Fantastic Four 243. One selling for $566. Next one's Kanan, The Last Padawan, number 6. Yeah, this is a first full appearance of Ren and Ezra Bridger and like Hera Syndulla. Quite a few high potential Star Wars first appearances on this one. Sold in an auction for $620. They've been sort of like going maybe a little bit under 600, maybe a little bit over 600. So this is right around the fair value for this one. And I think people, you know, this one's maybe lulling just a little bit, but I'm pretty sure Ren is absolutely coming in some Star Wars content moving forward. So this could be one to go after. Yeah, I'd aim a little bit under 600, but even right around, you know, 620 if you're a big Ren fan, Ezra Bridger fan, Star Wars fan, and, you know, this is probably one of the better Star Wars 9.8s to kind of speculate on with, you know, an appearance coming in some Star Wars content. And yeah, I have a feeling Ren's probably going to look pretty awesome on the big screen. So yeah, Kanan number 6 in a 9.8 right around 600 is a pretty solid modern 9.8 to consider. Next one, I've noticed this one kind of on a couple hot lists, but I don't even really know why, to be honest, but a pretty cool one. Crisis on Infinite Earths number 1. Pretty great DC key to consider. George Perez cover, just a classic George Perez cover on this one. Saw it sell in an auction for $152.50. And yeah, I did mention, like, I saw this on a couple hot lists. I'm not too sure why it's hot, to be honest, but I think this one had sort of went a little bit closer to 100, $152.50 right now. Not too bad, especially if, you know, maybe the Crisis on Infinite Earths, maybe they come out with some kind of movie or something like this. There's probably still more upside on this one. So actually for kind of an underfollowed DC 9.8, this one came out in 1985. You know, right around 150 on a Crisis on Infinite Earths number 1 in a 9.8 is looking like pretty solid value, to be honest. All right, next one, a pretty solid price for this one. It's a Spider-Man number 1 in the polybag newsstand version in a 9.8. I do kind of recommend this one if you ever wanted a Spider-Man number 1. You know, there's so many in the direct edition that it makes a lot of sense to kind of go after the newsstand, this polybagged newsstand version. This one sold for $285. We did document one about a month ago that went for $175, and I was like, wow, I kind of wish I threw in a bid. Like, that's a great price on this one. And this one going for $285. So I do really like this Spider-Man number 1 if you do want a Spider-Man number 1. Probably aim a little bit closer to that 175 price, because that was not too long ago that one had sold for. This one going for 285, so maybe right around 200 is kind of a pretty solid fair value on this one, but maybe you'd want to pay up to 285 if you really, really like that one. Here's another one that's really cooled down. It's kind of cool though right now, right around $100 though in a 9.8. It's a Lethal Protector number 5. This one is like first appearance of a couple other symbiotes like Riot and Phage, I think is another one. There's a couple others as well, but I saw this one in a direct edition sell for $101.99. That's kind of a price target to aim for sure. And you know, I know Riot, he's in that first Venom movie. Yeah, I just think if you're a big Venom fan or a symbiote fan, this one's kind of pretty much one to go after now. It's cooled down, it's a great price. If you like some of these alternate symbiotes, there's probably some underrated potential there as well. So $101.99 on a Lethal Protector number 5 in a 9.8 is a pretty solid value for symbiote fans out there. Next one is a new book. It's Thor number 20, first appearance of the God of Hammers. Haven't read this one, don't know too much about the God of Hammers, but a pretty decent cover. And this one in the 9.8 sold for $81. This is a new comic book, so, you know, will God of Hammers kind of stand the test of time? I'm not sure. So they're about $80 now. This could be one that really cools down if you give it kind of 6 to 12 months. Then, you know, you can get this one probably for about $60 or something like that. But a Thor number 20 in that first print going for $81. The next one is just a great classic cover. That's not a key issue, but I think it's a great investment in a 9.8. Whoever bought this one, I think it's a really solid buy. An Amazing Spider-Man number 157. This classic Doc Ock cover. Of note too on this one, like the centering, this book looked perfect pretty much. The centering was just immaculate, great colors. So that was absolutely worth something on this one. I did watch this one. I was kind of tempted and you know, maybe wishing I did get in there. I think this is a good value. It sold for $315. Like, just given how great the centering, how awesome it looked, and this is a really old book. I think it's like 1976. For just a little over $300, I think that's a great one. Yeah, especially if you're a Dr. Octopus fan. This is just one to target. Right around $300, you know, a little over $300 if the centering's awesome, like on this one, I think is totally worth it. Maybe you get that one a little under if maybe, you know, the centering's not looking perfect or something like that. But Amazing Spider-Man 157, great cover. Yeah, I think that's one of those sort of non-keys, but it's so old in the 9.8 that I think that's going to be a great investment grade one over time. Yeah, Doc Ock fans will be going after that one big time, I think. Next one is one I didn't even know about at all, but it went for big money in a 9.8. It's the Marvel Superhero Contest of Champions number 1. This one came out in the 80s. In a 9.8, this one. It didn't look on the census this morning. There's probably not a lot of them at all. I did not know about this book before I saw this auction. Selling for $494. And, you know, like Contest of Champions, that kind of sounds like it could be, you know, kind of, you know, be a cool movie or a show or something like that. So maybe there's some speculative potential with this one, but I bet there's not a lot of 9.8s as well. So it's probably a pretty solid collector item as well, selling for $494. Next one, Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, first appearance of Spider-Gwen, selling for $2,025. Yeah, they're going sort of right around that $2,000 level. I think you get lucky, maybe you get it kind of closer to $1,800, but that's the sort of price range on an Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. Again, sort of leading into the Across the Spider-Verse movies. Maybe there's a bit of a lull that'll happen in the next sort of 3 to 6 months, but that one might cool down a little bit after those movies. So it's kind of a tough call on some of these Spider-Verse key issues and Miles Morales key issues right now. But Edge of Spider-Verse number 2 going for $2,025 in a 9.8 white pages. Transformers number 1 in the first print. I think I mentioned this one on that last Transformers video, or maybe it was like there was like a few days before it ended on the last video I talked about Transformers number 1, but this one ended up selling for $2,022. It was looking pretty good too. I think that's a solid value. I saw these go for kind of $2,300, and this is one, you know, I have a CBCS 9.8, and probably about 2.5 to 3 years ago I bought that one for a little over $400. The CGCs during that time were kind of $700, I would say. So this one's, I've said before, is a no-brainer. First appearance of Transformers. It's trended up over time, certainly. A couple years ago they were $700, now a little over $2,000. And during like the hot comic book market about a year ago, this one, they were like right around $3,000, kind of 2,750. I remember quite a few going for. So cooling down a little bit, but certainly pretty much a big no-brainer. 1980s key issue to buy in a 9.8. $2,022 is pretty much a price target to aim for on that one. You got a long-term time horizon on that one. I think right around 2,000, you'll do so well. Next one's a pretty cool modern one. It's a Black Panther number 5. This is the first Shuri as Black Panther. I never got too into these Shuri books, so you know, hopefully I'll check out a few more of, you know, her key issues moving forward. But this one is when she becomes Black Panther with a pretty cool J. Scott Campbell cover, selling for $317 in an auction. I find for this one too, there's quite a few on eBay that are like, you know, buy it now for like over 500 kind of deal. So this is one you want to be patient on, right around 300. I think even maybe a little bit under 300 you can aim for this one on an auction. You know, with that other Black Panther movie coming out, this one could be a little bit sort of like that Sam Wilson Captain America book. It stayed pretty hot up to the Captain America Winter Soldier show. Now though, it's really cold. Yeah, I think we saw a few of those go for about $150, and they were kind of $300 when the movie came out, or when that show came out, the Captain America and Winter Soldier. So this one right around 300 now. Maybe a year after that Black Panther movie, it might not be 300. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens with the Black Panther number 5, and if they really give Shuri a push. Next one is a big no-brainer key issue in the modern age. A Darth Vader 3 in the first appearance of Dr. Aphra, who's kind of set up to be like the new Luke Skywalker almost. This one had sold in a first print 9.8. One sold for $410, another for $420, and another for $512. So I think on this one, that's the range on this one. And, you know, there's a lot of these out there in the 9.8. You can kind of aim certainly under $450, I would say, on a Darth Vader 3 is a pretty solid value right now. And yeah, there's some potential for sure with Dr. Aphra moving forward. It was really cool to see this one. One I've recommended, you know, quite recently. I do think it's a really great kind of underfollowed first appearance with some potential. It's Earth 2, number 19, first appearance of Val-Zod, Superman. And yeah, I think there's like some rumors about maybe it's like an HBO show of a you know, a Val-Zod Black Superman. If that happens, I think, you know, this will do so well, and hopefully it's well received. But saw an Earth 2 19 and a 9.8 sell for $391. So right around $400 on that one. Seems kind of expensive, but I feel like there's some potential there. Yeah, especially if Val-Zod gets in pop culture. I think this is going to be one to want. A little bit under 400, I think, is a great, you know, price to aim for. Even if, you know, it looked awesome in a new case, if it was just a little bit over 400, I'd probably, personally, I would pay that. I feel like there's some good potential with that one, and it's a great DC first appearance in the modern age, for sure. But Earth 2 19 selling for $391. I saw Young Avengers number 1 in a 9.8 sell for $799. And yeah, this one has kind of been kicking around $800 for the past sort of 2 to 3 months, ever since it's really cooled down after the the Hawkeye show, and Kate Bishop got really hot there. Now this one's selling for $799. They were about $1,100 like when the Hawkeye show was out, and during the hot comic book market about a year and a half ago, they were like $1,400. Like, I almost couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, Young Avengers. That was one I was wrong about. I remember when it was $250. I was like, I'm not too sure if like Young Avengers is going to be cool. Yeah, totally proved me wrong with the Hawkeye show and everything. But now it's a little bit on the cool down. So you know what? Right around 800 is so much better than buying it around like 1,400, you know, leading up in the Hawkeye hype kind of thing. So if you like the Young Avengers number 1, it could be one to consider right now, right around $800. Next one's a pretty cool, affordable DC book from the 90s. It's Superboy number 9, first appearance of King Shark, first full appearance of King Shark with the cool cover as well. I've kind of considered this one off and on. I never got into this one in the 90s. I wasn't, you know, too into Superman or Superboy at all. But I kind of like the idea of like a shark villain. This cover's really cool, and this one had sold for $110. And I'm pretty sure this heated up. I think King Shark was in like some modern DC comics. This one kind of heated up you know, it was maybe 6 months to a year ago. I don't know exactly, but I feel like this is a bit on the cool down right now. And actually, if you want a Superboy number 9 in a 9.8, right around 110 bucks, pretty great value. And I do like that cover with the you know, a solid first appearance. And if you're into sharks in any way, like I kind of like sharks, just like watching like National Geographic stuff on sharks and all that. So this one right around 100 bucks is kind of tempting for me, to be honest. Superboy number 9 going for $110. First appearance, full appearance of the King Shark. Okay, next one I do have. Batman 423. Seeing a couple of these sell. Well, actually just one on eBay that was kind of transparent, but it ended up selling for $2,999.99. Yeah, $3,000. Wow. There was someone on the team that had kind of brought to my attention that these were selling for pretty big money recently. That's kind of surprised me. They were, you know, right around $2,500 with the Batman, you know, leading up to the Batman movie. And I thought that's probably going to be the top. Like after this Batman movie, you know, it'll kind of slowly but surely kind of tick down a little bit and you can get it on a pullback. But really surprised to see one sell for $3,000 with, you know, the Batman movie kind of being in the theaters for a couple months. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. And I believe, yeah, I forget who it was that had let me know on the team. But I think he said there were a few that had sold for kind of $2,700. And then this one going for pretty much $3,000, let's call it, on a Batman 423. You know, I still think this could cool down a little bit. There's a lot of Batman fans kind of coming out of the woodwork, loving the Robert Pattinson, the Batman movie. So, you know, give that 6 months, that might cool down a little bit. This one, you know, is going to be under $2,500. Likely would be my guess in the next 6 months. But at that point, probably one you want to get with you know, this being like the Todd McFarlane Batman cover to get. I've always said about this one too, it's almost like a Spawn prototype. It's like the first appearance of Spawn in a prototype because, you know, the cape's all crazy everywhere and that's like Spawn. And yeah, I find Spawn is basically like McFarlane Spider-Man mixed with McFarlane Batman with maybe like a little bit of Dracula or vampire, you know, in there. And then that's pretty much Spawn. So this is a bit of a Spawn prototype. Just so many reasons to love this one if you're a big McFarlane fan. But hopefully it cools down to, you know, $2,500-ish rather than $3,000. Seems pretty expensive. Next one's Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, Jabba the Hutt in that Coello variant. Yeah, this one is being targeted, I think. A great eye appeal. Love, it's the first appearance of Deva Lompop. Looking great on the cover. This one sold for $260. I think I saw one sell a little bit less than $200 and then a couple over $200 as well. So this one, you know, I'd probably aim a little bit closer to $200 if you wanted that one. But one selling for $260. And the last one, a Wolverine number 88. Yeah, this one in an auction. Nice to see this one sell in kind of a fire sale auction, going for $341. I think that's looking like a more of a fair value for this one. I think, you know, occasionally I would see some selling for like $500 and like $450 and a little bit over $500 in the past, you know, year and a half or so. $341 I think is getting closer to like a fair value. This is first time Wolverine and Deadpool fight it out. And this is the deluxe edition. The non-deluxe is kind of the really tougher one to find. They almost look, you know, basically the same, but this is the easier one to find in a Wolverine 88 for $341. Yeah, I think closer to $300, really good value for this one. But, you know, getting over $400 and, you know, I don't know if it's worth that, but, you know, maybe it is because X-Men's coming back to the MCU, and certainly if Wolverine and Deadpool ever fought it out on an MCU screen, this one's way higher. Yeah, this one's going, you know, in that kind of environment would be exploding in value, I would say. But yeah, one I really love from the 90s. I think now it's kind of cooled down a little bit. Kind of great time to get in there. One selling for $341 on a Wolverine 88 9.8. All right, team. Great to go through a full list of 9.8 completed listings. Seems like the market's hanging in there. Still got your hot books like a Batman 423, really surprising. That Fantastic Four 243 getting a stiff price as well. So yeah, I think most books either hanging in there, getting a solid fair value, or, you know, really heating up like that Batman 423. So yeah, pretty healthy 9.8 market overall, I would say. All right, team. Thanks so much for watching, though. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.